very good evening and welcome. You're watching the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. The dream of studying abroad and eventually perhaps immigrating continues to be one that thousands and lakhs of Indians share. But this dream turned into a nightmare for about 700 students who wanted to achieve this in Canada. Now, what may come as a recent relief for the few Indian students in Canada who got deportation notices is that the Canadian government has for now stayed this order. This also raises hope for hundreds of others awaiting deportation from the country. But let me tell you what the story is all about. Over 700 Indian students in Canada faced deportation due to fake admission letters they received between 2017 and 19. This fraud came to light once they had finished their college degrees. They got work permits. Many of them were also working. But once they applied for a permanent residency, this fraud and these fake letters of admission were detected. Now, the needle of suspicion is pointing towards the admission consultancy in Jalandhar, which, as per reports, charged them 16 lakh rupees per student. The modus operandi was fairly simple. This admissions agent would get them admission in one college, but then ask them to go to Canada and then switch the college in which they would study. This was a way to avoid detection that the original admissions letter on the basis of which the visa was granted was actually all made up and fake. But this has now come to light. What this very unfortunate incident also shows you is how unscrupulous agents are taking advantage of unsuspecting students. This has become a diplomatic issue now. The Indian government has stepped in. Justin Trudeau has said that they will hear the victim side of the story. Let's play out for you this clip of what S. Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs, said on the issue.
For some time now, there is this case of students who the Canadians say did not study in the college which they should have studied, and when they applied for a work permit, they got into difficulties. From the very start, we, meaning the Foreign Ministry here, as well as our High Commission and the consulates in Canada, have taken up the case. And our point is that, look, the students studied in good faith. You know, if there were people who misled them, the people who misled them, the culpable parties should be acted against. It is unfair to punish a student who undertook their education in good faith.
All right, so the students were misled and the unscrupulous agent who is now accused of this has not been found yet. He's absconding. But what are the lessons that we need to keep in mind so as to avoid a repeat of something like that? M Hassan, CEO of applycourses.com, is with me on the show today. I'm speaking with former Ambassador Suresh Goel and Educator Meeta Sengupta. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for joining us this evening on the India Development Debate. Mr. Hassan, let me begin by just understanding from you how this could have happened with not one or two, but hundreds of students. This seems to be a well-established modus operandi in place, a loophole which is being exploited by these unscrupulous agents, and obviously a system which has been going on for a while, isn't it?
Thank you for inviting me. I guess the problems what I believe is that these kind of agents, they work very in a different way, because what we work in, it's very open-minded. Like we make it more crystal clear with the students. As soon as they have the offer letter, we ask the students, you can verify your offer letter whether it is genuine or not, and then we always ask the students to make the payment directly to the university. So, but I guess in this case, what happened, the university, this agency has asked the students to make the payment, and that's where all started, actually. And I'm not sure how the Canadian embassy has, they should have also checked the offer letters, but there is no such provision as such. So that's where the loophole happened, and then I think they're taking advantage of this.
Understand this. Let me understand it, because this is the part that's astonishing. So anyone can make up a fake offer letter and the Canadian embassy will grant a visa? I mean, that seems a little strange.
No, not really. That's where this is what should happen. Like for different other countries we work with, and in embassy or different country they should, and this is where the time has come. I guess every country's embassies should check, verify. Even the agencies should be regulated, or they should also verify each and everything before processing. There are two ways also. Sometimes we being in a company who promote different universities, sometimes the university should not be fake. So we need to make sure that that institution is good. The same way, if the agent is not good, they try to give it to the different universities. So the embassy should also verify the same. So I believe there should be some system should come up which actually help in favor of the students and everyone actually.
Ambassador Goel, I want to understand the context of this because you have lakhs of students going abroad to study. Just some statistics here. The number of Indian students studying around the world is at a 6-year high. Indians now study in 240 countries around the world. Canada, Australia, the UK and the US remain top choices. That number of students choosing to study abroad rose to 5.86 lakhs in 2019 and hit a 6-year high in 2022 at 7.5 lakhs. So more than 7.5 lakh students went abroad to study in 2022. Obviously, this is a great destination. India is a great destination for students for all of these countries who want people to come in. How would this situation now be handled diplomatically? Do you think that there is a chance these students will actually get some reprieve? Because they are the victims, they aren't the fraudsters in this case.
See, what happens is that we need to first understand why it happens the way it has happened here. Of course, then we will have to come to the issue of giving a reprieve to the students. Number one, Australia, Canada, and there are one or two other countries which have become a favorite destination, as you said, for the Indian students whose ultimate objective, I'm not counting USA because there is a different dynamics altogether, but they go to these destinations because their whole objective is to continue to stay in these countries. Either way, whether they have a job or not, but they become popular destinations for migration. Australia had the same problem. Canada has the same problem. Now, even then the 200 students, when they reach Canada with a fake visa, what happens there? And I can give you basically because my own son has studied in the McGill University, and the procedure there is fairly straightforward. You first of all secure admission from the university or the college. Once you get the offer letter, with the offer letter and all the documents, you go to the nearest High Commission or the embassy, as the case may be. They will issue you not a 5-year visa. They issue you a temporary visa, maybe for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. And with the 6 months visa, you are able to secure entry into the country, and you go to the educational institution where you have got the admission. And after you have got the admission confirmed with the admission letter and all the documents that you have paid your fees, financial wherewithal and everything, you go to the nearest immigration point. And at that immigration office, you produce all the documents on the basis of those documents, the immigration office gives you the 5-year visa. Therefore, the question number one, how does it happen that these students were able to stay for 6 years in a fake educational institution without having a long-term visa?
So Ambassador Goel, let me just clarify on that, at least from what information we have right now, and I mentioned this in the introduction. The modus operandi seems to be that the original offer letter of the college being promised was fake, but the students reach Canada and they switch colleges, and that's what this agent advises them to do. So where they're actually studying eventually is not a fake
Tamanna,
admission.
I'm coming to that part. And therefore, if they have gone to a fake institution which cannot give them a permanent or a long duration study letter, they go to another institution where they transfer, etc. How do they transfer to another institution, which again, most likely would be fake, or even if it is valid, if they don't have a long-term visa, no other institution can accept admission or transfer without valid document. Therefore, number one point here, Tamanna, is that this racket cannot be going on without complicity of somebody or the other on the Canadian side. That is number one. Number two, EM has made a very passionate plea. But I really wonder if some other people were to come to India and want to make it a long-term destination for the stay without any confirmation, without any verification, that would be a violation of our own migration rules, our own domicile rules. What action would we take? I don't think we would take very kindly to those people, even if they have been duped. And therefore, I think in this case, while the student being taken for a ride is valid, but I don't think that the visa or the migration rules work on the basis of this kind of a plea. Now, number three, I think when Prime Minister Trudeau says that he will look at the issues, he will review the issues with a view to see that they should not suffer. That can mean so many things. So let us see what action actually does Canadian government take. We have seen recently also that there was, what was that case there again, where the Canadian NSA said that India intervenes in the internal matters of Canada because there was somebody who had, there was this, the float displaying the assassination of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the former Prime Minister. So they may say lots of things. Eventually what happens is another different matter at all. We have to wait for it and see. And most importantly, we need to basically educate our own students, just like we did our own labor at one time, that look, every offer is not a valid offer. You need to get it checked through our embassy. It will be useful if there is a system that the offer letter, whatever offer letter that the student has got, if that can be checked through our High Commission or through our embassy, through our High Commission in Ottawa or wherever they are located, to check whether this educational institution actually exists or not, and whether they are not being taken for a ride. So we need to take quite a few steps to ensure that our younger generation does not fall prey to this kind of racket.
I want to ask, and let me bring Meeta Sengupta here. Obviously, your opening comments on this issue, but Meeta Sengupta, we are now assuming on the basis of claims of these students that they were completely in the dark, that they had no idea. And they all, without asking any questions, went to Canada on these offer letters and then switched their colleges. Do you think that needs to be investigated as well, whether they all truly were in the dark?
See, that's precisely the doubt over here, and that's why the investigations are happening. This is a very complex chain of events that's in place, and it seems to have failed these students, or seems to have failed good governance norms in at least 2 or 3 places. Now, how at this stage, you do have a lot of innocent people who just go along with the tide, saying, "Oh, 500 people have gone before. Let me be the 501st." But we cannot comment on individual cases. There may be some, there may not be some. At this stage, we don't know. It deserves an investigation for sure. But the general rule that needs to be given out to students, and this should go out as an appeal to every student, is make sure that you have direct contact with the university that you are going to. The letter should come to you. In any case, most universities have moved to emails. They do accommodate people who do not have an email address and do send things by post. The letter should have come to you, to your own email account from the university directly. Your payment should be to the university. You should have been given the contact number of somebody in the university where you can ask some questions, basic questions that universities handle all the time. How cold will it be? Can I afford to buy a coat over there? Will I be able to get food over there? Students ask these questions all the time. You validate the connection with the university by asking at least one set of questions. Students who are approaching this blindly through an agent, I begin to wonder if they even have the capacity to go out and study independently. if you can't actually apply through a reasonably simple process independently, you certainly do not have the capacity to study independently. So there is definitely a problem here. There is a problem with the way agents are able to exploit very gullible students, and students definitely need to have a bit of caveat emptor. But at this stage, personally, I have a huge amount of sympathy with the students. They are trapped. They did everything that they were asked for, right? From their point of view, they studied for 4 years in a college. They did their whatever else they were supposed to do. One does have sympathy, but one cannot absolutely be sure of what happened in this entire chain of events. I would love for everything to be treated with sympathy, because India and Canada both have strong student exchanges. They have a wonderful relationship as countries, and we do have a lot of exchanges. India itself wants to bring in a lot of students into the country, the Study in India programs. And this case actually brings up a huge number of lessons along the chain for all of us to have caution in different parts of it. But definitely students have to be in charge of their own life if they're stepping up for independent higher education studies.
Right. There is no sort of guardian angel in the form of an agent who you just pay money and they'll do everything for you. Any admission process is a tough process. You have to use your own brain. But having said that, Mr. Hassan, what are the red flags people should look out for? And I think that's important, because like Ambassador Goel explained, a lot of people are going abroad to study not just to increase their knowledge, but they're looking at it as a gateway to a different life. The final goal is to immigrate. And countries which make that process simpler are not without surprise on the top of the list. Canada is one of them. So what are the red flags students should look out for when they are taking help to apply for college courses?
The first thing what they should check is the university, what they are shortlisting at the time of applying, whether they are the private university or a public university. And these informations are available in the embassy website or different websites where you can check. So shortlisting the university is very important. And after that, so if you know it's a public university, it's almost safe. It's around 99%. So you can say that these universities are funded by the government and they are okay. But there are some private universities very good. There are also, especially in the US as well, so that you can check whether the credibility of the university. That's the first thing. Once you shortlist, and then at the time when you get the offer letter, that's the first thing what you need the student needs to do is you have the offer letter, you have the student ID number, because that's a unique number they get, so they can just just drop an email to the university international office and check whether my offer letter is genuine or not. That's the first thing. So they will be able to find out, yeah, your offer letter is okay, and you get admissions. The second thing what they should check is the tuition fee mentioned in the offer letter. Sometimes these fake agents, what they do is they do admissions, but they change the fee structure. So let's say the university is supposed to pay 10,000 Canadian dollar, but they change the fee structure into 13,000 or 15,000, and the students pay this money. So they should also check whether the fee structure mentioned in the offer letter is correct or not. That's where the red flag they have to check. And never pay to any agents. Always directly transfer to the university tuition fee. If any agents ask for, oh, you pay us, we'll do all the works. No, never. You shouldn't do that. And as soon as you have the offer letters confirmed, your offer is confirmed, your tuition fee is same as per the mention in the website, everything is matching, then you go to your bank and then transfer the fees. Yes, you might take help from them, that how I can, it means, some of the companies are there which helps you to transfer the fees. And this is where you can actually stop the whole part. And then once the offer letter is done, you have the confirmation from the university that your fees has been paid and the visa letter issued. So when the visa letter issues, then yeah, of course you need help with the agencies, or you can file your own. But there are a lot of paperwork you might not know. And once the fraudulent normally doesn't happen after paying the fees, and when you know that it is genuinely, you have verified each and every information, and you'll be safe after that. But yes, there are some other loopholes there where they try, even the agencies try to give some I have seen one student, he got admissions, and then they did not pay to the university, and then he got a ban for 10 years and by the Canadian High Commissions. And now that's how it all happened. But yes, the first red flag is the paying the fees, checking the offer letters are verified, the tuition fees are same or not. That's the main thing here, actually, to save all this thing. And also, I guess there should be some system should come where the embassy, like Australian government has, they issue a visa letter and they can actually see that student has paid or not, because the university itself put those data and get a visa letter. So that should be introduced by all the countries to safeguard the students.
Okay, so students need to really see if the process is passing the smell test. Uh, no one is going to just take money from you and do everything for you. You just pack your bag and board a flight. That's not going to happen. But Ambassador Suresh Goel, what would you like to see change here? Because like you said, and you made a very astute observation, this would not have been possible without some kind of collusion on the Canadian side, where you just make up some letter and it passes through muster, and 4-5 years it goes on, suddenly they're being caught. Do you think internally there need to be checks as well on the Canadian side to figure out what happened?
Prime Minister Trudeau said that they will investigate the matter. They will investigate from the point of view of finding out who all colluded on the Canadian side. But that is actually a kind of doing a post-mortem. The fact is that I doubt very much that the students who are now actually feeling in alert and that they will get the long-term visas, or they will get to stay in the country. I think basically what they should be doing is, most of the universities will send the offer letter directly. And therefore, you call the smell test. Doubt, look, treat everything with a pinch of salt. If things are appearing to be too easy for you for admission into a university or college anywhere at all in any of these countries. And the best way to really do is check on the open sources. Somewhere or the other, the university or the college is going to be listed. If it is not listed, it takes only one email to write to the education counselor in the Indian High Commission or the Indian Consulate in Canada and ask them that this is what you have got. Can they please confirm about the validity or the veracity of such an institute? Trust me, it is much better for the High Commission to avoid a case of wrongful stay than to have a problem later on their hands. They will always reply to you. So that is the point. They need to be very, very careful and take it with a pinch of salt.
For the hundreds of students who are stuck right now, there's been a stay of deportation for some, but for the others, it still looks a little, gloomy. We'll have to wait and see how it goes forward, but at the very least, it should be a cautionary tale for others who are hoping to make a future in a different country via the route of education. Keep your eyes and ears open. There is no miracle solution. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us on the show this evening. We'll take a very short break, but stay tuned. A lot more coming up on the other side.